Hello, everybody out there. I'm glad to be in front of you again. Um, we're going to do another add to my series. I'm just asking. Um, in this series, what I basically will do is there's some questions that I'll have, really basically about some experiences and things that I've actually gone through, and I'm just throwing it out there at you guys, and just to say, I'm just asking. This is what I did. I'll usually give you an example of what I've gone through or what I've done, and then I give you guys a chance to comment. Um, Definitely, I think it could be helpful because again, I don't know everything and I'm always open to learn. So I'm very, very interested in your comments. But today, what we're going to talk about, and it is February the 10th, 2014, what we're going to talk about is friendship, true friendship. What does it look like? What does it require? What should it look like? Um, when do you throw it away? When do you just get rid of it? When do you say, okay, this is not true friendship, and then you go ahead and get rid of it? And how long does that take? Okay. Now, my thing is, through the years, I've found true friendship. Friendship is just like any other relationship. It actually takes work. Sometimes a lot of work, but it should never become an actual chore. It just shouldn't because friendship, you're supposed to enjoy it. So it should never actually become a chore. That's the same thing with a sexual or a loving relationship. When it becomes a chore, you need to get rid of it because what the hell? What's the point? It should never be one sided. Your friendship should never be one sided because it doesn't leave you in a good place. It really doesn't. And I can talk about that because I am guilty. I have run into friendships where it's become very one sided. And part of that is my fault. I'm a Capricorn. I'm a natural giver. I'm a natural giver. Um, and I have to be me. I have to be me, but I can become very mean when it gets to a point where I'm giving, 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 and then at the point that you begin to feel used, then there's an issue. And I can become very mean at that point. But that's Capricorns. They are that way. We're natural givers, but we do take things very personal and we have a hard time forgiving. Um, True Capricorns, anyway. Uh, Definitely, if you are in a friendship with a person, you should be able to agree to disagree, and it should be effortless. It should be effortless. I have two friends basically. My best friend, she has since passed on. Her and I literally have been friends since I was in the eighth grade, and we literally there's one thing that we didn't agree about and we literally agreed to disagree and we moved on. We never revisited it. We knew what the boundaries were, and that was it. Now, I don't expect that to be the same way for everybody all the time because we had a very strange and very special friendship, and I miss her like crazy. And then I have who I actually call my brother. We're friends. He's my best friend as well. I had a male one and a female one. That's it. I think you only get the two, but um, he's still here with me, and he knows I'm crazy as hell. He, for some reason, he loves to poke fun at me and laugh at me. I'm like his big comic relief. But again, there are boundaries we have, and we know them, and so we don't approach them. We disagree sometimes on things, and that's it. We squash it and we move on. We just don't approach that again. We just leave it alone. You know what I mean? There's no smoke and mirrors and true friendship. If you're truly friends with a person, you're not running around and people have this vision of what the friendship is, people who are on the outside looking in, and then it's not really that. That's not true friendship. That's probably a really one sided thing. And people are making these smoke and mirrors. It's not healthy. It really isn't. Um, and there are definitely no questionable acts. And that's a big one whenever there is a friendship. And I have an example. I'm using me and my examples. Um, okay, so I have several different businesses. I'm always moving about. So I sew and I make jewelry and I write books and I have all of this stuff going on. Um, when I say questionable acts, I am talking about okay, I have an associate because they're not a friend of mine, they're an associate. Um, where whatever business that I decide to go into, that's on me. It's nice when your friends do support the things that you do, but keep in mind, your friends don't owe you anything. They don't owe you to support you. Now, I am a person. I'm a supporter. If you're a friend of mine and you're doing something, I'm a supportive person. And everybody who's friends with me, they know that. They know I will support whatever it is they're doing. Now, I don't feel as though anybody owes me anything. Um, I have books out. I have 5 books on the market. If you don't have one of them, that's fine. I mean, it's not, you don't owe me anything. You owe me nothing. So that's not an issue. But this is what I'm saying when I say about questionable acts. I wrote my first book in 2011. Here I have a person, oh, yes, I'm going to share it on my Facebook page and I'm going to do this, that, and the other. Those are things that don't cost you anything. And that's like something nice that a friend would do. And most of my friends or associates actually did do that. They jumped right in and they shared on their Facebook pages and all of that to help get the word out that I was actually doing books. And that was nice. And I really did appreciate it. This one particular person, I didn't ask them to do that. I never even mentioned it to them. They came and said, oh, I want to do this, that, and the other. I found out over a year and a half later they had never done it. Had never done it. But then they decided, oh yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna have to go ahead and share that. Same thing happened when I was doing jewelry. Oh yeah, you're running out here. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna share it on my Facebook. I'm gonna share it with my friends. Never did it. Then almost a year later comes, oh wow, your jewelry pieces are really, really nice. I want to seriously. That's what I mean by a questionable act. Nobody asked you to do shit. Nobody asked your ass to do nothing. Never required you to do anything. But you threw yourself out there with the bullshit. Why? Why? That's not friendship. That's foolishness. And then there's another thing here, the smoke and the mirrors. I have uh I wrote my memoirs in November. There's a book called Boys Like Me. Um, I wrote this book and I went through a whole lot of different things. And in the process of writing that book, I actually severed some friendships that I've had. I mean, some of them were with family members, some of them were with just people, that I've come to know over the years. And there was a lot of one sidedness that I had myself involved in. And it's amazing how much free time I have on my hands. I didn't realize I was giving that much of myself away. Um, a lot of foolishness. There's a very thin line between help and use. Okay? I don't mind helping you, but you're not going to use me. When it becomes a great big problem, when I don't want to do something that you want me to do, that meant we weren't being friends and I wasn't actually helping you. You were actually using me. And I had a lot of this going on in my life. And once I started to sever these friendships, it was amazing how much free time I have at this point. I literally freed up so much of my time. You know, um, with the one friendship, it's amazing because people will say, "Oh, I will see you guys together all the time," and it's such a shame, and this, that, and the other, and they're going on, and how you should try to patch that up. And I'm like, there's nothing to patch up. And then the more they kept going, that started to get on my nerves. I got tired of having that conversation, so I started asking a question back. You tell me what you saw in the friendship. And then most people will do it. I've done it about 4 or 5 different times. And the person starts talking. And they'll say, oh, yeah, well, I mean, because you all did this together, you did that together. Then you would do this for that person. You would do that for that person. I know you did this for that person. And, oh, yeah, I know you did this and that for them. And then I look at them and I say, okay, now stop. Did you understand what you just said? You did, you gave, you put in, you gave out, you did. What type of friendship is that? What kind of friendship is that? Too costly, if you ask me. You did. Skip it. Skip it. And the best thing about those friendships that I've actually severed, I don't miss being around these people because there was always a lot of little things that I was letting slide. You know, little questionable acts, little questionable statements that were made, little smart comments that friends don't actually make to each other, unnecessary digs, things of that nature. You'll find yourself, if you have these types of friendships, you are really excusing a lot. You're giving a lot of yourself away, a lot of yourself away. And I'm guilty of letting things go and ignoring it, and then it just festers and then it blows up. Thank goodness it didn't really have to blow up. Any of these things really didn't have to blow up when I severed these friendships, but I did let them fester too long, and it was getting to a point where it was going to get ugly. So this is what I want to talk about, as far as friendships go. And I can go on and on and on about friendships and what I would call fake friendships. Those little things. And again, because I know how to do too many things. So I have friends a lot of times for all the wrong reasons. He does hair, he makes clothes. Gotta watch it. Why are we actually being friends? Because there's always something for you to get. Yeah. Like I said, it's been really eye opening since November how much free time that I actually have, and I'm enjoying myself. So I would love to know what you guys think. Feel free to add comments. I like to know, what's going on. How have you experienced any of these things that I've actually brought up? And if so, how did you handle them? Or did you need help trying to handle them? But I just love to hear from you guys. I love to see what you guys are thinking. So definitely, this is, like I said, part of my series. I'm just asking. And go ahead, leave your comments, and I will talk to you guys really soon. See you later.